if Arsenal fans could choose, they would want to sign Christos Tzolis, Julian Alvarez, Bruno Guimaraes, and Morgan Rogers all in the same window. But that's not going to happen. I think they will sign 3 of them. And I'm going to discuss who I think that they will be. Because Arsenal fans want to have the kind of window that Liverpool had. Because Liverpool last season signed Isak, Frimpong, Florian Wirtz, I don't remember, Kirkez? I don't remember who else. Ekitike. And Arsenal want that kind of window where they just got everybody. Because now they have 4 targets. Rogers, Tzolis, Alvarez, Guimaraes, Tzolis. Hold on. Morgan Rogers, Bruno Guimaraes, Julian Alvarez, Tzolis. I don't know. Hold on. Yeah, I think I said all of them. And repeat any. But if Arsenal want to get all 4 of them, I don't think it's gonna be really possible. Cause I think they'll be closer to 400 million, which I don't think. I don't think they're willing to spend 400 million. Because Tzolis 35 million, Bruno, Alvarez, and Rogers are all gonna be over 100 million. So I think it's unrealistic for them to sign all of them. But who do I think that they'll sign? I think, since they're very close to signing Tzolis, I think they've pretty much already got Tzolis. So, Tzolis, 35 million, almost a year ago. I think they've got him. And then you have to talk about the difficult 3, where the clubs they want, they're not willing to sell. Let's talk about Julian Alvarez first. We all know about Atletico and how they have been unwilling to sell any of their... No, they have been unwilling to sell Julian Alvarez to Barcelona. And I don't think that Barcelona Alvarez will happen. At least as while as Alvarez is at Atletico, I don't think he'll go to Barcelona because they're a direct rival. I don't think Atletico even want to sell to them. So I think it's unrealistic for Alvarez to go to Barcelona. But what is realistic is for him to go to Arsenal. I think Atletico still don't want to sell him to Arsenal, but they'd be more willing to sell to Arsenal than Barcelona because Atletico, that match never really happens, besides the Champions League last season. And yeah, I think over 100 million to get him. I think if Arsenal really want him and put in a big bid, I think Arsenal could wrap that deal up in the next 2 weeks. 2 weeks, 1 week, about that time frame. That's about when I think Arsenal could probably get Julian Alvarez. That's if they even want to sell to Arsenal. Because I think Arteta probably wants him, but does Simeone, does the board even want to sell him? I think if they do put in a big bid, like 110 million, I think they've got him. I don't think Atletico can resist that, because that's a lot of money for him. I don't think he's worth over 100 million, but that's what he is worth in this market. So I think out of the 3, Alvarez is the most realistic. And now, the next 2 I'm going to talk about are extremely difficult to sign. As much as those 2 players probably want to go to Arsenal, the next 2 ones I'm about to talk about is going to be very, very difficult considering what's already happened in the window. The third most realistic one, which is kind of unrealistic, is Morgan Rogers. You see, with Rogers, the deal looked realistic about 2 days ago. I think if you're talking 2 days ago, Arsenal could probably wrap that up if they put in a big offer in a week, at most. I think Arsenal could have gotten a deal done pretty quickly. Come to today, or even yesterday morning, things have just gotten a lot harder. Harder. Yes, they signed Manzabi. Okay. But why would they even get Manzabi? Well, Onana's injured. And the big one, they've just sold Tielemans terrible, terrible, terrible timing. With the selling of Tillemans and the signing of Manzabi, now it's gonna be harder for Arsenal to get Rodgers, as their midfield, at Villa's midfield, they have Kamara, Rodgers, and Manzabi, which looks very good. The thing is, Onana's injured. So now, it's gotten harder for Arsenal to get him, because now, with the Onana injury, Villa won't have Onana for a while. And they want to keep their midfield. So, with Rodgers being the main vocal point of the team anyway, they want to keep Rodgers now. Because now that we have an injury and a selling of two players of Tielemans and Onana, they're going to say, well, with Rodgers, we're not going to sell to you. We don't want to sell to you. But if you put in an offer of towards 110, 100 million, we could accept that. Because I think Villa could easily find a replacement for Rodgers. The thing is, with the complications of the Villa midfield, they're right now, if Arsenal put in an offer of 80, 90 million, they will not accept. Villa don't want to sell for that cheap. Villa do want to sell for 100 to 110 million. But with the complications in midfield, it's looking unlikely for the transfer to happen in the next couple. I don't think this deal will be done in the next week. I think if it does get done, I think it'll get done in 2-3 weeks. Almost a month. Not quite a month, 2-3 weeks. Because Villa don't want to sell him. And it's just looking hard. Now, this next player, I'm a Newcastle fan with Bruno. I'm going to be completely unbiased. I'm going to tell you what's happening. I'm not going to be biased. I'm going to tell you what's happening. Newcastle don't want to sell Bruno. I don't want him to go, but I do. I do want him to go. The thing is, Newcastle don't want him to leave. And now, with our midfield, let's go to Newcastle midfield. Newcastle's midfield is weak now. It's gotten very hard for Arsenal to get Bruno because of Newcastle's midfield. You see, it's going to get very difficult because Newcastle have 3 midfielders that are starting worthy right now. Joelinton, Bruno, and Sir. After selling Tonali and Trippier and Target, Kraft, Gordon, Newcastle don't want to sell another player. They've already sold 2 huge names, Tonali, Gordon, and a very important player to that squad in Trippier. They've sent Ewan, Joanne, Torre, and Ster. But if we're being extremely realistic, down to the point, Newcastle won't sell Bruno because of their midfield lacking a lot. Because if they do sell Bruno, then they don't really have a good midfielder. I think that they need a world-class midfielder. They still need, even after getting Ster, they still need another midfielder. They lost out on Manzabi. I think if Newcastle signed Manzabi, I think this deal would be a lot more realistic. I think it would be more realistic than the Rodgers deal. But since Villa signed Manzabi, now it's looking more difficult because now Newcastle's midfield without Bruno is Joelinton, Ramsey, and Ster. That's not even a good midfield. That's not a top 10 midfield. Ramsey has not performed last season. I think he'll start next season if they do sell Bruno and don't get another midfielder. Because I think Ramsey's good, but not good enough for a top 10 finish. Joelinton, I think Joelinton will start in the midfield if they do sell Bruno and Tonali. I think easily Joelinton starts. I think he is good enough for a top 10 finish. And Stir is a prospect. So you can't just put all of those players. And plus, they don't really have depth either. They have Willock right now. And that's really it. So, they still need players. So, if Arsenal do get Bruno Guimaraes, it'll be when I think Newcastle go down the same route as last summer with Isak. It's one of two ways. One, Newcastle will say, just like what they did to Isak, we need to find a replacement, and if we do get a replacement in this window, you can have Isak. You can have Bruno. That's what they could say that. Or the second option, probably like the worst option that could possibly have. We're not gonna sell Bruno to you guys. No matter what fee you put over, you're not gonna get Bruno. Get out of here. Now that one is bad for all parties. Newcastle fans have seen what Bruno he signed. He signed an agent to get this deal done quicker. Newcastle fans have realized he doesn't want to be here anymore, so now they want him gone. Arsenal want Bruno to come to the club, and if Newcastle keep Bruno, well, Bruno's gonna be unhappy. The Newcastle fans will be unhappy, and the Arsenal fans will be unhappy. No one's happy in the situation besides Eddie Howe. That's the only guy who's going to be happy with that. And I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth keeping Bruno after what he's done. Now, people are calling him worse than Isak, which I think is terrible. He's not even close to what Isak did. Has Bruno sold his flat yet? No, it's not even close to what Isak has done. But I just think most realistic is Tzolis. Then I think the second most realistic is Alvarez, then Rogers, then Bruno. Yeah.